On the African savanna, seemingly familiar approaches sometimes lead to unexpected and violent reactions. Lions enter with the confidence of apex predators, believing that speed and technique will determine the outcome. But a single moment of misstep can shift the advantage. The following confrontations demonstrate what happens when an attack encounters insurmountable limits. The African buffalo is one of the most dangerous animals on the savanna. An adult can weigh between 1,900 and 2,200 pounds, with thick horns and a charge powerful enough to change the course of a fight in seconds. When it senses a threat, its reaction is not hesitant. Two lion cubs were playing with a small prey nearby and lost their vigilance. The buffalo doesn't distinguish between large and small targets. It charges straight at the nearest movement to eliminate the danger. The powerful charge sends one of the cubs flying to the side, shaking the ground for a moment. The cub survives thanks to its light weight. Its small body causes it to be pushed away instead of taking the impact directly. It is not pinned to the ground and quickly retreats out of danger. The buffalo's counterattack ends as soon as distance is created. In nature, small mistakes can lead to big consequences. A moment of distraction is enough to cause serious injury. Survival depends not only on strength, but also on the ability to recognize danger at the right time. In the vast open savanna, wildebeest maintain close formation to minimize the risk of being separated from the herd. A mature individual with a strong physique and curved horns is always ready to switch from movement to defense when the safe distance is broken. The lioness chooses the right moment and locks her prey's neck with her familiar technique. In the first few seconds, the advantage is with the predator. But the wildebeest twists its body, kicks with its hind legs, and shakes its entire body weight to regain balance. The grip begins to falter as the posture becomes unstable. Just a few seconds of lost pressure, and an opportunity immediately arises. The wildebeest springs free from the grip and heads straight towards the herd. The lioness must stop when the grip is no longer stable enough to maintain the initial advantage. The encounter ends without either side being defeated. In nature, the line between success and failure is sometimes decided by just a few seconds of maintaining the upper hand. On the arid land, Oryx stood apart from the sand, its long, straight horns, nearly 3 feet long, always pointing forward. When it sensed danger, it didn't flee, but immediately turned to face its opponent. This posture formed a direct defensive line, forcing the predator to stop and reconsider its approach. The young lion tried to circle around to find a weak point, but each time it shifted, Oryx turned with it, keeping its chest and horns always facing its opponent. The initial charge lacked the force to bring the prey down. In those crucial first seconds, the balance didn't tilt in favor of the attacker. When more than 10 seconds passed and Oryx remained standing, the lion's chances diminished significantly. A counterattack with a straight butt forced the lion to retreat to avoid serious risk. The confrontation ended when the predator chose to retreat rather than continue the risk. In harsh environments, not every objective is easily overcome. Calmness and the ability to hold your ground can turn the tide. Sometimes experience and timing are more decisive than sheer strength. In the silent savanna, the rhino stands firm, its massive, thousands-pound body and thick horn always poised for action. Its imposing appearance easily misleads opponents into misjudging its reaction speed. But with just a slight impact, its entire body can turn in an instant. The lion approaches from behind and lightly bites the hind leg. This isn't a knockout, but rather a probing maneuver to gauge the opponent's reflexes and rotational speed. However, the tactical error quickly becomes apparent. The rhino is not an antelope. It responds with an explosive spin, its massive thousands-pound body delivering force toward its attacker. The safe distance vanishes in a split second. The lion retreats, realizing the increased risk outweighs the potential benefit. The encounter ends without either side being killed, but the advantage clearly favors the animal that maintained the initiative. In nature, testing a prey's reaction doesn't always yield opportunities. Some predators respond with instantaneous force, leaving no room for correction. Misjudging the prey's nature can have far-reaching consequences. In the vast expanse of the savanna, the mother elephant stood still before her calf, her massive body, weighing over 10,000 pounds, forming a solid defensive line. The distance between them was almost zero. That stillness wasn't hesitation, but preparation for an instantaneous reaction. A pride of lions began to move in an arc, seeking to create distance between mother and calf. The air grew tense as they drew closer. The mother elephant maintained her position, head lowered, taking small, inching movements to conceal any approach. She didn't pursue, but was ready to charge if the line was crossed. The attempts at separation were unsuccessful. No gap appeared. When the distance between mother and calf remained zero, the lions were forced to stop and retreat. The confrontation ended with the balance tilting heavily in favor of the animal that maintained its bond. In nature, many successful hunts begin with separation. But when the bond is maintained absolutely, the predator's chances disappear almost right from the first step. Amidst the low grass of the savanna, the warthog moved slowly, its body low and heavy. That appearance gave the impression of vulnerability. But inside was a reflex system always ready, waiting for a signal of danger to activate. Two lionesses silently closed the distance, waiting for the prey to leave the cover of bushes. The air grew tense as the encirclement closed. The charge was swift, but not powerful enough to finish immediately. In that moment, the warthog chose to confront rather than dodge. It exploded forward with all its might, reaching nearly 35 miles per hour in a short distance. The sudden acceleration disrupted the pursuit. The lions had no time to adjust their direction, and a safe distance was quickly created. The hunt stopped almost instantly. No prey was brought down. In nature, the advantage sometimes lies with the quickest reactant, because the outcome is often decided in the first few seconds. On the edge of the tranquil river, the hippo stood still, but controlled the entire space around it. Its massive body didn't seem sluggish, but rather exuded a silent pressure. With its nearly 20-inch-long teeth and a bite force of approximately 1,800 pounds per square inch, any movement too close could trigger an immediate reaction. Three male lions approached the water's edge cautiously. They carefully observed the water's surface and the muddy bank, but didn't realize they had entered a sensitive area. A mere shift was enough to cause the nearby hippo to turn, thrusting its entire body forward. The approach was swift and direct. One lion retreated first, the other two turning as the safe distance narrowed with each passing second. The hippo didn't pursue too far, stopping when the boundary was restored and the water became calm again. The confrontation ended in a few tense moments. The lion left the area, while the hippo continued to hold its position. On the savanna, the initiative shifts according to the terrain, and where there is water, the balance often tips in favor of the dominant territory. Through each encounter, the lion's strength never diminishes, but it is constantly challenged by the reflexes and defensive strategies of its opponent. Every approach carries the potential for a reversal in just a few short seconds. On the savanna, victory doesn't belong to the one who attacks first, but to the one who best controls the decisive moment. And sometimes, retreating at the right time is also a form of survival. In the wild, conflict doesn't always begin with hunting. It arises when multiple species congregate in a confined space, near a water source, or in a crucial location for survival. In those moments, strength, numbers, and the environment immediately determine who can stand. The following sections reflect how nature determines victory and defeat, without exception or favoritism. Buck antelopes are medium-sized animals with quick reflexes, often relying on dense vegetation or shallow water to avoid danger. They aren't strong in direct confrontations, but survive by choosing an escape route in time. In an emergency, deciding where to take shelter is crucial. Pursued by a pack of wild dogs, the antelope lunged into a mud puddle where a hippo was standing still. Initially, the hippo didn't react, keeping its distance and tolerating the unexpected presence. But when the antelope panicked, thrashed violently, and invaded its personal space, the situation immediately changed. The hippo reacted almost instantly. In a brief moment, the confrontation ended, and the antelope was no longer able to escape. Soon after, the pack of wild dogs approached and dragged the body away from the area. The situation ended quickly. The antelope couldn't get through the predicament, while the hippo held its position. In nature, choosing the wrong shelter can lead to a worse outcome than the initial threat. Hyenas are large, pack-hunting predators with high stamina and excellent coordination. An adult can weigh over 130 pounds and often relies on numbers to gain an advantage. When facing a lone opponent, hyenas can exert constant pressure and control the space. Initially, a lone lion is surrounded by a pack of hyenas. They approach step by step, applying pressure from multiple directions and maintaining sufficient distance to gauge the lion's reaction. The balance now tips in favor of the hyenas. The situation changes when the lions appear from a distance. The presence of multiple individuals slows the hyena's movements. The pressure shifts, and the numerical advantage is no longer maintained. The encounter ends quickly. The lions maintain control of the area, while the hyenas retreat to avoid direct confrontation. In the wild, lions exert their strength when in a pride, while hyenas only maintain their advantage when they have a numerical superiority. The African buffalo is a powerful animal with a sturdy build, thick muscles, and strong, curved horns. A mature individual can weigh over 1,500 pounds and moves in tightly organized herds. The buffalo's strength lies not in speed, but in its tenacity and ability to withstand pressure. At a watering hole, the elephant continuously drives away other animals to gain space. Approaching the buffalo herd, the elephant continues to demonstrate its overwhelming size. However, the buffalo do not retreat but maintain their position, continuing to drink and maintain their formation. The two sides confront each other in a tense standoff. The elephant advances, the buffalo hold their line. No fatal blows occur, but the pressure is evident in every movement.
Oh no, man! What?
The encounter ended without either side being defeated. The buffalo were not repelled, and the elephant gradually reduced its intensity of approach. In the wild, their tenacity and herd mentality make buffalo one of the least bullied species in Africa. Crocodiles are reptiles with very strong jaws, long, heavy bodies, and thick skin that helps them withstand environmental impacts. An adult can weigh over 1,000 pounds and function effectively in the water. However, once out of the water, their mobility and directional control decrease significantly. Near the riverbank, a crocodile crawls ashore to access its food source on land. Its slow movements make its entire body easily visible. The lions then appear, taking advantage of their numbers and agility on land to exert pressure from multiple directions. In this environment, the crocodile faces many limitations. Reactions become slower, each turn takes time, while the lions take turns approaching and maintaining close proximity. The inherent advantage of being in the water is no longer effective on land. Without a favorable position to maintain distance, the crocodile gradually loses control of the situation and is forced to retreat, abandoning its food source to return to the water. The encounter ends with a clear result. The lion retains its advantage, while the crocodile leaves in unfavorable conditions. In nature, the environment determines advantage, and when the crocodile leaves the water, that advantage is gone. Lions are large, social cats with immense muscle strength, quick reflexes, and effective coordination. A mature lioness can weigh over 300 pounds and often plays a leading role in hunts. However, these advantages are only fully realized when there is enough space to move and retreat. While the buffalo herd moves closely together, a lioness finds herself in a disadvantageous position, trapped in the middle of the formation. Without chaos, the buffalo maintain their structure and react simultaneously. Pressure from multiple directions quickly renders the lioness unable to find an escape route. The safe distance disappears. The lioness's movements slow noticeably, while the buffalo maintain a steady pace and control of the surrounding space. When the situation calms down, the buffalo herd continues to advance in its familiar formation. The lions were no longer able to approach and were forced to leave the area. On the savanna, the buffalo's solidarity was enough to keep even the most powerful predators at bay. Giraffes are the tallest land animals, with large bodies, long necks, and leg bones that bear their entire weight. A mature individual can be over 18 feet tall and weigh over 2,000 pounds. Despite their excellent eyesight and considerable strength, giraffes' stability depends almost entirely on their legs. When lions approach, they don't target the upper body or neck. Instead, they coordinate attacks on the hind legs, the area that bears the most weight. They cling on, maintaining constant traction and disrupting the giraffe's ability to maintain balance. When one leg loses its balance, the entire giraffe's body loses its stability. It falls to the ground in a short time, and the attack ends quickly. The confrontation ended with a clear result. The lion gained the upper hand thanks to its precise tactics, while the giraffe could no longer defend itself. This is a prime example of attacking structural weaknesses rather than engaging in a direct confrontation. Hippopotamuses are semi-aquatic animals with very large bodies, thick skin, and strong jaws. A mature male can weigh over 3,000 pounds and control the shallow water areas where breeding takes place. A hippopotamus's status is directly tied to its territorial rights. When two male hippos meet, tension quickly escalates. They open their mouths, emit threatening sounds, and move closer to each other. Neither side backs down. The confrontation escalates to direct contact in a confined space. The movements are rapid and brief. The hippo's tusks are strong enough to pierce through thick layers of fat, forcing the opponent under immense pressure and losing its ability to hold its position. Ultimately, the weaker one retreats from the area. The remaining hippo retains control of the water and the breeding opportunity. In the world of hippos, strength determines status, and hesitation brings no advantage. These encounters demonstrate that no species always holds absolute dominance. The outcome of each confrontation is determined by circumstances, location, and how each species reacts in the crucial moment. Sometimes strength prevails, sometimes hesitation reverses the situation. In the wild, order is maintained by stable, unbiased, and unchanging rules.